Yeah, we've heard Jadeveon Clowney and the Browns' interest in him, one of three teams linked to it. How real do you think that is? And we'll get to a little quote here about that in a minute. But how real do you think their interest in Clowney is?
I think anything's real if you offer Jadeveon Clowney the right amount of money. Now, it seems that they've offered the most money that's on the market. There's a couple of different prevailing thoughts. One, he just doesn't want to play for the Browns. Okay, well, considering the Browns' history, I can actually respect that. Two is that he wants a longer term deal. I don't want that. I don't know if I can trust Jadeveon Clowney for a couple of simple reasons. One, he played well towards the end of his tenure in Houston, but that was towards the end of his tenure.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing for a contract, the other part is in Seattle, I really got the same player in Olivier Vernon that they got in Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, you look at the numbers, a lot of them are very similar. And some people would argue, okay, Jadevion's better against the run. Well, am I paying upwards of $20 million for a guy who's good against the run, or am I paying upwards of $20 million for a guy who's good after going after the quarterback? That's a couple of things that I think we need to worry about with Jadeveon. Now, I'm of the thought, and my co-host Lima is of the thought of me as well. And he beat me to this. He convinced me of this, and I didn't need much convincing. If we keep hearing about this salary cap, so much salary space, well, we already have basically the $15 million lined up for Olivier Vernon. None of your guys that you have are you going to change this year. So go with me on this. Myles Garrett will probably get hemmed up by the end of the year, and they'll pay him a massive amount of money. He'll be the highest paid pass rusher in the NFL. And then after this year, you get rid of Olivier Vernon. But why do I have to just have an either or with Jadeveon Clowney, who has a history of injuries, or I have to get rid of Olivier Vernon, who also has a history of injuries? Why do I need to get rid of Olivier Vernon if you keep telling me how much salary cap space I have? What's the point of doing this? The thing that I'm most worried about is that I don't know if some people see the forest for the trees here, Dave. And I don't mean to go too far on it, but I have Miles I have to pay. I might have to pay Nick Chubb now because remember
Yep.
he's a second round guy, not a first round guy. So I don't have that 5th year option. Denzel will come up. I hope I can pay Denzel. Greedy we'll talk about later. I'm hoping that there's a left tackle in my future in Jedrick Wills who I can pay. Baker I obviously want to pay. There's not a whole lot of room at the end here. So this is where, what the window of opportunity, at least in this incarnation of the Browns, might be this year in 2021. And I keep hearing from a lot of people, well, 8-8, 9-7, you did a whole lot to just get to the middle. Just it. I know it might not seem realistic, but man, I don't ever want to hear the term tank again. If 8-8's the best I can hope for after going 1-31 over 2 seasons.
You mentioned the salary cap. Let's take a look. So the Browns have they do. They have more salary cap room than the other two teams linked to Clowney, with the Browns over $37 million. Now, there's also a quote coming out from Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. His understanding is the Seahawks have been in the range of $15 million on a one-year deal for Clowney. The Seahawks have been led to believe that the Browns offered him $18 million, and he's yet to take that number. We've heard it's been $12 million, so it's kind of been all over the place. But Mike Florio, who again is a pretty reliable source, says it comes down to Clowney getting his number. And I'm with you. If it's more than a one-year deal, the Browns have a lot of mouths to feed. If it's a one-year deal, they can go crazy.
If it's a one-year deal, I'm okay. If it's more than that, then I'm wondering, does this become Jamie Collins all over again, where Jamie Collins was great in New England and then walked around the field with the Browns? Does this become Kenny Britt or Dwayne Bowe? Kenny Britt got pretty nasty. I don't think that Jadeveon Clowney would be that nasty. They do have the same agent he and Myles Garrett do, and Bus Cook. So that might help out a little bit. But hey, you know what? If he just doesn't want to play for the Browns, the thing that the Browns have to shake, and this is basically on their young leadership, quote unquote, because they have to learn how to be leaders, but this is basically on them. Cleveland has long been seen as a place where, and veterans will tell you this, guys who have retired will tell you this, Cleveland's long been seen as a place where you go to get your last paycheck, where you go to hopefully remain healthy, but be able to put something away for the bank, and that's it. It's basically seen as where careers have gone to end for 20 years. And I think that does scare Jadeveon Clowney. Like, really, the best offer I can get is the Browns here. This is probably scary to a 27-year-old man. Well, it would be up to him to change that, and that's why I'm going, okay, you can offer him $20 million. I don't care. It's not my money. Offer him 21. Offer him 25. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But do it for 1 year, keep him honest, and then we'll see where things go.